This phase of the program, as you know, recognizes educators, people who really do have our city's future in their hands. To tell us about today's honorees and how they got here, Daily News Editor-in-Chief Colin Myler.
Good morning. Thank you, Pat. And a very warm welcome. It's a great honor for the Daily News to be hosting today's awards. New York's hometown newspaper, saluting New York's teachers and educators. There are few things in life more important than a child's education. We have more than 1 million students in our city's public schools, 1.1 million, I believe. It's the largest school system in America. 1 in every 300 Americans is currently studying in New York's public schools. But it is you, our teachers and educators, who are at the forefront of our children's learning and opportunities. It is you, with the help of parents and guardians, who can make their dreams come true. There are 75,000 teachers in our city's 1,800 public schools. Too often, we only read about the negative side of their work. Our Hometown Heroes Awards salute and honor the commitment, hard work, and unstinting sacrifices they make every day of the year. When we launched the awards, we received more than 250 nominations. It was an almost impossible task for the judges to whittle them down to 20 finalists and eventually 11 winners. Their stories were inspiring, uplifting. Their dedication and unselfishness to their school pupils was overwhelming. They're all winners, but this morning you'll hear stories that will make you proud, and I'll guarantee at least one of them will make you shed a tear. I'd like to thank Pat Kernan, morning news anchor from New York One, who will be our Master of Ceremonies, all the judges who gave up their time, and the presenters for making time in their busy schedules this morning to be here. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, CUNY and MCU, as well as the partners who worked with us at the Daily News to make today possible. First of all, the City School Chancellor, Dennis Walcott, Michael Mulgrew, the President of the United Federation of Teachers, and Ernie Logan, the President of the Council of School Supervisors and Administrators. And I'd now like to welcome on stage Michael Mulgrew to say a few words. Michael.
Good morning, everybody. To all of the educators who are here. I know right after you finish, you'll all be going back to schools. And that's really what this is really about. There are thousands and thousands of people, tens of thousands of people who wake up every morning in and around this city and get up and go into a school building. And they do amazing jobs under very difficult circumstances. And they face challenges that no one could ever prepare them for. But they don't complain about it. They get up and do it. And I am so proud and happy to be part of this today, and I want to thank Colin Myler and the Daily News for recognizing the great educators that we have throughout this city, because we need to be doing this more. So thank you, Colin, for doing this. To the award, to the recipients. You didn't know what you were doing would get you to this place right now today, and you would have done it all, and you will do so much more that will make a difference in so many children's lives. You will take care of your school communities. You will help children. You will do things that will go way beyond your job description, because that is what is in your DNA. You chose a long time ago to make your profession a profession that will make a difference in children's lives, and I am humbled and so gracious, and thank you for allowing me to be part of this, and really, you are my heroes. Thank you so, so much.
Colin mentioned a moment ago that Ernie Logan is here as well. Let's bring Ernie up to say a few words.
Thank you, Pat. Holland. The Daily News. When I grew up in Brooklyn, you know, the Daily News was known as the paper. It's still known as the paper. You know, we talk about this out-of-borough experience, so my members read the Daily News. They might not always tell you they do, but they do. Their children's parents read the Daily News. So when you talk about having hometown heroes, we read that. So Daily News, thank you. We're honored that you've accepted the opportunity to honor us. So often, as you said, people only want to hear about what the negative things are going on. But we are so pleased that someone has taken the time to say, let me look at the real hometown heroes. And I think the educators in this room that you'll hear about today are our true hometown heroes. And every single day, as Mike says, we come to work just to service our students. Good and bad. Sometimes things never happen. But this past year, when Hurricane Sandy hit, our folks opened up their hearts and their schools, and we became places to shelter and support families and children. And some of what you'll hear today is some of that. So I want to just say first to the Daily News, thank you. To the educators, every single day you realize it's always been about the children. And so we honor you today, and thank you for allowing us to honor you. Thank you.
So I wasn't on TV this morning. New York One was kind enough to take me off the schedule so I could do this event today. I guess at like 4 o'clock this morning, my wife rolled over and had to get up to go to the bathroom or something, and she saw what time it was, and I'm never there at that time, so she helpfully woke me up at 4 and told me that I was late for work. But I actually got to sleep until 6 o'clock this morning. Normally when I'm on the anchor desk at New York One, I have this wall of TV monitors in front of me, and I see the faces on all the other channels who are up at the same time. In that environment, there are competitors. In this environment, here today, I think a better word is colleagues, and many of those colleagues that I watch every morning are here to help me with the award presentations today. It's my pleasure to introduce the first of those colleagues. Darlene Rodriguez has been the anchor of NBC's Today in New York since 2003, and she is someone who knows firsthand what a difference great teachers can make in New York City schools. She is a graduate of Christopher Columbus High School in the Bronx. Please welcome Darlene Rodriguez.
Thank you, Pat. You're a show-off. I woke up at 2:30 this morning. Got to sleep until 6. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone today? It's a great morning, right? We get to honor wonderful people and be here together and really salute these hometown heroes. In the days after Hurricane Sandy, the scope of the devastation really became very clear to all of us. For those of us in the media, we were reporting story after story of people who really had lost so much, in some cases, people who had lost everything. There were special people, though, really extraordinary people who emerged in the aftermath of Sandy. People like Deirdre DeAngelis. Now, Miss DeAngelis is the principal of New Dorp High School on Staten Island. It's a big school. Now, Staten Island, as many of us know, sustained some of the worst damage during Hurricane Sandy, people still reeling from what they suffered still today. Among the damage was Miss DeAngelis' own home. Now, instead of focusing on herself, Deirdre DeAngelis, after finding that New Dorp High School still had power and that it was a very strong building, she turned New Dorp High School into a relief center. With more than 300 volunteers that she got together, 300 very willing, strong, and able volunteers, Deirdre DeAngelis and her group collected clothing, they collected supplies, they collected food. They distributed these things to people in need in this very devastated community. It didn't end there, though. When school started up again, Deirdre DeAngelis and her staff located every New Dorp High School student, found them all, made sure they were okay. Almost 3,000 students. And they made sure that these students had counselors, financial aid, and had what they needed to stay in school and really keep some sort of normalcy in their lives. Now, Deirdre DeAngelis has been honored before as a woman of distinction. We know about her educational achievements, bringing New Dorp High School to a 90% daily attendance rate. Is that correct? That's right. That deserves a round of applause in this environment. That's right. She also received an A on the City School Progress Report in 2012. And might I add, she has a beautiful family. Her father, Joe, her mom, Barbara, her husband, Ed, her sister, Denise, niece and nephew, Allison and John, all here, and her very, very handsome 10-year-old son, Andrew, the most handsome guy in this room, if I might say so myself. You know, I was talking to Deirdre when we started breakfast this morning and talking to her about how extraordinary what she did is, and she said, no, it wasn't me, it was a lot of people. And that part is true. It was a lot of people. But at the same time, in these kinds of situations, there are certain people who inspire, who motivate, who, as you said, facilitate, and that was you. And for this and for so much more that we don't have time to list here today, Deirdre DeAngelis is a hometown hero. Let's give her a round of applause.
Ladies, right here on the marks. Let it all straight. Thank you.
Congratulations.
We've got marks on the floor here so that the photos are perfectly lit. Our next presenter is Jorge Ramos. He was born in Puerto Rico, came to New York in 1976. He is the senior anchor of Telemundo's evening newscast in New York City. He says longevity runs in his family. He's now been with the station for 33 years and is a parent who knows the great difference that educators can make in a student's life. Please welcome Jorge Ramos.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Pat. Today, the Daily News is honoring public school workers, teachers, principals, who display the qualities of generosity, compassion, dedication, selflessness. And one of those workers is Brian O'Connell. When Hurricane Sandy wrecked the Scholars Academy in Rockaway Beach, Queens, Principal Brian O'Connell did whatever it took to keep his school alive. And after 8 months of ceaseless toil and relentless heartbreak, O'Connell has rebuilt the school and his home, which sits just 3 spotlights away from the academy and was also nearly destroyed in the deadly storm. I was talking to him and his family for 4 months had to live in a hotel. He's here today with his beautiful children, his wife, and his mother. So somehow, every member of his senior class graduated this year. So that's why we say that Brian O'Connell is a hometown hero, and we welcome you.
Thank you. I really appreciate the kind words. Let's see if I hit my mark. I'm ready for my close-up. Thank you very much.
We're here today because of the commitment of so many organizations. The New York Daily News is, of course, the reason that this event came together. Bill Holliber is the president and CEO of the New York Daily News. We journalists like to talk about church and state. Bill, of course, is somebody who comes from the business side, but an event like this doesn't happen without commitment from both the business side and the editorial side. And it's great that we were all able to gather here today to recognize these educators. For the presentation of our next award, please welcome Bill Holliber.
Thank you, Pat, and welcome, everybody. At each school she goes to, students, parents, and faculty beg Sister Dolores Crepeau not to leave, even if that meant departing her beloved Fontbonne Hall Academy in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn earlier this year. Sister Crepeau is known in the business side as a turnaround specialist. During her 4 decades working in schools around the city, the last 8 years were as principal of the all-girls high school, where Sister Dolores has dedicated herself to improving girls' lives. Acting as a confidant and advisor, she has helped girls reach their full potential. Crepeau grew up in Flatbush. She put her counseling degrees from Fordham University to good use. In one instance, Crepeau helped a girl who was thinking of running away from an abusive home. She said, "Listen to me carefully. I understand your frustration, and if need be, I can have you come and stay with me in the convent. But let's think about if we can fix the problems, find a home for you to go to, or maybe even a relative to live with." Thanks to Crepeau, the student found a family member who took her in. While dealing with all the challenges, Crepeau still finds time to praise her girls' achievements. Crepeau has been the one dependable adult in many students' chaotic lives, and for that, she is a recipient of the Daily News Hometown Heroes in Education. Earlier this year, as she finished her tenure at Fontbonne, 128 pupils won over $20 million in college scholarships. It's amazing. And almost all of them were accepted to their first choice. Sister Crepeau has brought her high standards, her team-building skills, and sympathetic ear to her new home this month, Our Lady of Guadalupe School in Bensonhurst. And I've been told in 6 weeks she's done more for that school than in the past 10 years that anybody else has ever been able to do. What else could be said about someone who wants people to feel good about who they are and what they could really accomplish? Let's welcome Sister Dolores Crepeau.
Liz Cho is a journalist who's familiar to viewers across the country, but since 2003, her main assignment has been right here in New York for WABC as co-anchor of Channel 7's Eyewitness News. She has been with Eyewitness News through the huge stories that we've seen in the past decade. Please welcome our next presenter, Liz Cho.
Maria Korbkova, or Miss K as her students like to call her, she's really just kind of a newbie. She's 26 years old and has really just been teaching for 3 years. That's it. It's kind of a rookie in my book. But Maria is anything but. In fact, not only is she beloved by her students and their parents, she is well respected by her colleagues for her intense dedication to her job, her students, and her no-nonsense teaching expertise. And because of that, she has earned 10 nominations for this award. Maria teaches U.S. history and economics at Richmond Hill High School in Queens. And in economics, she starts by teaching her kids the importance and the basics of a bottom line, that they understand how to be responsible with their money, and she motivates them early on to get out there and get a job. That is not easy to motivate high school kids to go out and get a job. Every single spring, She will go to the local mall and grab a stack of job applications. And then she works with them one by one, helping them fill out those job applications so that they can have a summer job. And she's teaching them the importance of being independent. But her dedication to her kids goes well beyond just the classroom. She coaches the boys' tennis team, and as a woman, teaching boys in high school is not the easiest thing in tennis. And not only that, but she has helped them raise $5,000 buying rackets and uniforms and other really key pieces of equipment. She also tutors her students at lunch, and I love this. She brings snacks to them. For those families who cannot afford it, she does not want those students to feel embarrassed, and she goes above and beyond. And it's really those small things that make a difference in her students' lives. On Saturdays, when most of us are recovering from our work week, Maria is working and hosting a computer workshop for the parents of her students, teaching them the computer skills that they need so that they can go in and check their children's grades, and just helping them with basic computer skills. All this from a kid who came from Moscow at the age of 14, who had to come here and learn everything all over again. She is the product of New York City Public Schools, and she graduated from Baruch College. And she is the perfect example to her students of what hard work and dedication can get you in life. Maria, we celebrate you today for all that you are and everything you do every single day for your students to help improve their lives.
We've heard this phrase a lot. Our next presenter, another product of New York City Public Schools. You may have heard the story before, but Ray Negron's start as a baseball executive is an interesting one. He got caught drawing a Yankees logo in graffiti on the wall of Yankee Stadium. And he got caught by George Steinbrenner himself, who told them that he could stay out of trouble if he took a job as a bat boy. A great career and a long history of community service followed. Please welcome Ray Negron.
Thank you for that, because every day I think about George Steinbrenner. I think about the blessing that he gave me 40 years ago. And I think about the fact that he had me locked up. I didn't know who he was, and then he came back like within minutes and said, "Give me the kid." And he took me into the Yankee locker room and he said, "You're gonna work off those damages, you're gonna be a bad boy." And life has gone full circle, because I had always promised him that I would always give back, because it's what you call found money. You understand? I wasn't supposed to be there. The two guys I was with that day died, drugs, etc. That brings me to PS 55. 8 years ago, maybe, Mr. Steinbrenner says, "I'm supposed to go to this school in the Bronx, but I'm really not feeling well. You go." So I'm supposed to be representing George Steinbrenner, Puerto Rican kid from the Bronx? I don't think so. Nobody represented George Steinbrenner. But with that being said, I asked his son, Hank. I didn't ask his son, I begged his son to come with me, because I thought it would be very cool for him to see the realities of life. And with that being said, we went to the South Bronx. We went to probably the toughest area where you can put a grade school, okay? We walk into PS 55, and we see the bullet holes in the windows. And I said to Hank, it would take a real tough SOB to be the principal of this school. It would take a Joe Carter type, like in Lean On Me, to take care of a school like this and these kids. Well, in life, the one thing I've learned is you don't judge a book by its cover, because I got to meet probably the nicest individual in the educational system anywhere in this country. Just a nice guy. But don't mess with him, okay? And after that first year, I decided to go back. Mr. Steinbrenner, while he was alive, said, keep going back over there. If we can make an impact, we will. Take whatever guys you can get to go over there, and I've had Robinson Cano and Mariano and you name him, he's been there, okay? And they've gone over there not just to be Yankees, but to be people, to play guitars, to play with the kids, to play basketball, to play wiffle ball. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't want to do the same thing that everybody else does. We want to, in essence, make the kids feel that they are somebody. This man has gone on and beyond, talking about the breakfast, the lunches, the dinners, and everything else that he does for those kids, talking about the aspect of that someday they will be somebody. And for that reason, I'm really proud to go there every year. I guess I owe you a visit in about a week or so before the season ends. It's been a bad year. Everybody's been hurt, and all I have is a mascot. So with that being said, a superstar, Louis, come on up here.
I'd like to introduce Mary Calvi now. She joined WCBS in 2002. She has made her mark there as both a reporter and an anchor. She, like me, is up every morning on CBS 2. Each weekday is the co-anchor of the morning and noon newscasts. Please welcome Mary Calvi.
Good morning, everyone. You've heard of many stories of young people attending college, child prodigies and the geniuses who get into school very young. Well, I have one better than that. A 2-year-old who attended college. His name, Brandon. And the reason why he went to Baruch College was to accompany his mother. She was so focused on getting that education that even though young Brandon was 2, she decided he would just come along with her. So he was in the poli-sci classes and in the education classes, and she was a young mom, just a teenager. And there he was along with her throughout the entire process. And Brandon, I can't wait to tell you about his story, but let me get to his mom first. She grew up in tough neighborhoods. Her mom, Olga, said that throughout it all, she knew her daughter would become a success. She was smart, she was focused, and she was ready for just about anything. She's a real survivor. And as a teacher, she was help at-risk students, the ones who couldn't make it, who just needed that one person to push them in the right direction, to show them the way, and sometimes it just takes that one person to make it happen. And she decided, I have a lot more kids I need to help. She started her own high school, Liberation Diploma High. And each and every day, she is there to help those children succeed, sometimes older than children succeed. When Sandy struck, the place got flooded out. She didn't know what to do. 6 feet of water. What do you do? And against what everybody said, she got down on her hands and knees every day, 18 hours a day sometimes, and she scrubbed that place clean. Sometimes by herself, even though Olga wanted to help her, even though Elijah was there too, her son, she said, you know what, I can do this and I will do this, and she did. She reopened the school very soon afterwards. She rearranged classes, whatever she had to do. She needed those students back in class. And again, helped each and every one of them get into college, helped them with internships. She goes above and beyond what any person should do. And so we are so thrilled to congratulate her on this honor and to congratulate her son, Brandon, who just recently graduated from Yale University. Ladies and gentlemen, a true hometown hero and an inspiration to me and so many others, let's welcome April Leon.
There's a good reason that immediately you think of WABC when you hear the name Art McFarland. He is the longest tenured reporter at Channel 7. In recent years, his assignment has been perfectly matched to this event. He has been on the education beat, and he knows firsthand from being out there reporting those stories what makes New York City schools work. Please welcome Art McFarland.
Good morning. You have no idea what a shock it is to find yourself the longest tenured person anywhere. But it happened. And I'm very, very proud of all those years. But the most meaningful years for me have been the 6 years that I've spent as education reporter, and I'm always forever grateful to have that opportunity. Now, I'd like to share with people that I was raised by a school teacher. So I have a very healthy knowledge of the kind of sacrifice and the kind of work that it takes to make it happen. Now, we're going back to red marking pencils on the kitchen table and stacks of papers to grade. But I do know how much work it takes to do it well. My mother would have been so proud to know Sandra Gittens, principal of PS 102 in Manhattan. She has been principal there for 11 years, and she has done that job with brilliance, effectiveness, and creativity. For example, she started a therapy dog program for children with behavior problems. Now, most, if not all of you, know how well children respond to pets. And so you give a child a responsibility of taking care of a pet, at shepherding a pet, and something happens to them. Well, that has happened to students with behavior problems at PS 102. She has also started an urban garden program, another extremely effective and creative way to get kids' attention, to give them responsibility. And a mandatory chess class, We're very proud here in New York City to have so many schools where chess is important to kids and where they have competed at a national level to win championships. And mandatory chess is part of the curriculum at PS 102. And here's another very creative thing that Sandra Gittens and her colleagues do. There's a real big emphasis on physical fitness there. And in between classes, they have kids doing yoga. You can't imagine, with all the pressures of being in school, how effective it can be to have kids chill out and do yoga between classes. So, those are just some of the ways that Sandra has affected hundreds of lives of children at that school, and why she so deserves to be called a hometown hero. Sandra Gittens.
I don't really even need to say the name of our next presenter. Bobby V is enough that New Yorkers know who you're talking about. Bobby Valentine, his exceptional career as both a player and a manager in Major League Baseball. But now he's closer than ever to education. This summer he became athletic director at Sacred Heart University. Please welcome Bobby Valentine.
Thank you, Pat. Our next honoree is an extraordinary young person who this introduction will not do justice. In 2005, he just set out to try to help some lives and wanted to run into some people where he could develop them into better citizens. And what that turned into is him creating a whole new vision in public school education. He created and founded the Democracy Prep Charter School here in New York in 2005, and he has grown that school to 7 other locations since then. He's extraordinary in his work ethic and his vision and the people that he has hired to surround himself with to make thousands of lives better, create lives that are educated and can continue their education into college. And many people thought that the students that he was reaching out to would never be educated, never get to college, but instead there have been thousands that have reached that goal and continue as we speak today. He has 7 as I spoke, and because of his grand work, the government grants that he has received will quadruple that amount by the year 2017. Please help me welcome and honor a true hero, a true visionary, a true person that makes a difference. And I'm proud to say that I get to introduce Seth Andrew.
It is fitting that Bob Ojita's career as a broadcaster is with a station that covers the New York Mets because though his career took him to a lot of places, his run with the Mets in their 25th season is something that he will never forget. It was 1986, a season that would end with a world championship. Please welcome Bob Ojita.
I'm here to present Mary Ellis Blackmore with this award. And I've known her a grand total of a half hour, right? And I was handed something to read about her, but quite frankly, I folded it all over. Because when I met her and saw her and listened to her, these were just words on a page. Didn't mean anything. She was talking to the chancellor about what she does. 17 years she's been in the Bronx counseling children, and not the cream of the crop, the tough ones. The ones that's not easy to deal with. She's been doing that 17 years, giving of herself for those who need it most. And I heard the emotion. I know you did too, Chancellor. And it really said it all I needed to know about her. And I read where she said, it's an act of love. I mean, that's pretty legit. That's really legit. And I have 6 children, and it's because people like you that they've done pretty good, because you give of yourself. You affected one of my children so much, he became a teacher and loves it. So on behalf of the Daily News, I won't bore you anymore because she just is amazing. Congratulations, and I'd like to present you with your award.
It's my privilege to personally present our next award. My mom is a public school teacher. I'm a parent now of a 4th grade student and a 6th grade student, and there's great comfort as a parent in knowing that your kids are not only safe, but they're in the hands of great educators when they're off at school. Our next recipient is Joseph Usach. He grew up on Long Island, attended Hofstra, but it is in New York's public schools where he is making his mark as a middle school teacher at IS 311. Now, Joseph was nominated because of a classic act of heroism. He helped to save the life of a boy who collapsed in the school cafeteria. But when we got beyond that initial nomination note and really learned about his story, that in my mind is what really sets him apart and makes him one of our hometown heroes. He's known as a teacher who constantly comes up with creative ideas about how to engage students and really get them thinking about their social studies lessons. When it's time to talk about White House history, the students play the role of advisors to President Truman. I love this one. When it's time to talk about the rise of the Ford Motor Company and that part of America's economic history, the students form their own assembly line and learn how that process drove the American economy at the time. I should note that they don't make cars, they make ice cream sundaes, which has a certain appeal for the students. In the interview he did with the Daily News in June, he said that his teaching philosophy matches a Chinese proverb, "Tell me and I might remember, involve me and I'll understand." Join me in congratulating Joseph Usach, a hometown hero. Congratulations again to Joseph. Our next Hometown Heroes Award recipient could not be here in person. In a moment, you will hear why in an impressive story of commitment to her students. Joining us on the video screen with that story from the set of her talk show is Wendy Williams.
This nominee is Trisha Moses. She's one of the most fantastic educators I've ever encountered. She's a veteran teacher, teaching for 13 years. She's now teaching at PS 233 over in Brooklyn. Her specialty is teaching children with needs. The problem is Trisha is in need herself. You see, she suffers from an autoimmune disease, scleroderma. Scleroderma robs you slowly of your ability to breathe, so she desperately needs a lung transplant. She was scheduled to get that transplant last spring, and guess what Ms. Fabulous did? She postponed the transplant so that she can be with her kids to prepare them for state exams. She's not here today. She's in Pittsburgh because she's about to get her transplant. Her family is with us, though. How you doing, Trisha's family? Trisha, you are fantastic for all you've done and all you are and all that you will be. We proudly present you, Trisha, with this Daily News Hometown Heroes in Education Award. Go on, girl, with your bad self.
Thank you so much. Oh, good morning, and I am honored, privileged, and this is a pleasure to accept. As Wendy mentioned, I've been teaching for 13 years at PS 233, and I had to stop suddenly because of an illness that took me. And I wanted to say thank you all to my co-workers and my administrators and to my family, first and foremost, for helping me, to keep me strong and for giving me strength through this difficult period that I'm going through. I want to tell all my kids at school and everyone at my job that I plan on returning. And I promised you all before I left that I'll get better in return. And that is my goal.
And with us to accept the award on behalf of her twin sister, her sister Natasha is here. As you all know, this is a busy time of year for educators. It's remarkable that we've managed to assemble this group here in mid-September. We are, of course, grateful for the support of the New York City Department of Education and all that they have given to this process. Please welcome our school's chancellor, Dennis Wolcott.
Thank you very much, Pat. And for those who've seen me in action before, you know I never follow a script. So in not following a script, Michael and Ernie, can you join me on the stage? Is Ernie here? Ernie? You never know with me, right? You never know. We're all together. To Colin, to the Daily News, I want to say thank you very much for gathering us all together today, because we are here on behalf of not just these great educators, but educators throughout the entire city. And when we talk about hometown heroes, you are our heroes. We stand together because of you and your dedication to our 1.1 million students. When you take a look at Trisha, you take a look at the honorees here today, you represent what we feel are the people who provide tremendous, tremendous value to our children. You prepare them for life successes. You prepare them to be successful adults. Whether you're a principal, whether you're a teacher, whether you're an educator, whether you're in the public school system, whether you're in the parochial system. You represent the best and the brightest. And I just want us to say to you, thank you for everything that you do on behalf of our students, day in and day out. We would not be here without you. Our students would not be getting the education they receive without you. And also, I want to thank the family members who are here as well. Without your support for the people who are receiving the awards today, this would not be possible as well. You have given so much of your time to allow them to do what they do. Because no matter what you may hear and see at times with the three of us, we're all here because of your hard work. And we know that it's not an 8 to 3 job, a 9 to 3 job. You are working day in, day out, at all hours of the day because of your dedication to our 1.1 million students. And it's our responsibility collectively to say thank you for everything that you do on behalf of them. So to the Daily News, we thank you for getting them all together. But most importantly, we want to say thank you to the Daily News for really designating them as hometown heroes, because you are our heroes. Thank you.
What you said, Dennis. Very well said, and a great way to cap off the work that everybody that's been honored here today has done. They will continue to do that work, of course, as all of these educators head back into their schools. I'd like to invite Colin Myler back to the podium now for his closing remarks.
Can anybody put their hands up who didn't cry? I think it's all been said. It is, as I said at the beginning, an honor for me to be doing what I'm doing to represent the Daily News in an awards program like this. The stories were extraordinary. As I said to Sister Dolores' colleagues on the table, you can now see how impossible it was to try to choose winners from 250 nominations that we received. It really was very, very difficult. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for the presenters, the partners, but above all, thank you to the winners, and congratulations. Hopefully, this awards will become an annual event. We hope to see some of you here next year, and if not winners, as we've said before, you're winners every day. Thank you very much.